welcome to another episode of Train Lee Installations. Today I'm reviewing this USA Trains Gp7 locomotive that I've just recently finished installing a Zimo decoder into. I've had to do some special programming for the scripts to work with the particular decoder, and presently with the firmware on the decoder, it doesn't really support independent control of both smoke units. To start with, as a default, or as my kind of almost unspoken standard, I use F8 to go ahead and turn on the sound. And so I don't feel like I'm yelling over the locomotive. I've set up a couple of different, I've set up a volume control, so I'm going to turn its volume down a little bit here. Okay, that's a little easier for me to speak. Now, I've set this up using similar lighting features as the original locomotive, or as the original USA Trains locomotive. Only as part of that, I ended up replacing the majority of the lights in the locomotive. So as in this particular case, under normal operations, if you turn on all the lights using F0, it turns on the cab lights, and then it turns on the number boards and the headlight and so on. The headlights are super bright LEDs now. And if you notice, the little marker lights on the locomotive, these guys, the locomotive in this particular case is facing forward, or designed to travel forward. If I reverse the direction of the locomotive, the marker lights will turn red, and as the headlights also reverse directions. Now go ahead and move it back forward. Now we've got on F1, we've got your bell. F2 is the default horn. And then F3 is a brake key. Not only does it reduce the overall speed temporarily, it locks the locomotive in place. So if I press the F3 key and then increase the throttle, all it does is increase the sound of the engine. So we'll bring it back down. And the locomotive will not move with that. So I'm going to go ahead and release the brake on it. Then you have F4, which is the shunting key. And something interesting that just happened when I pressed the shunting key function is the marker lights on the locomotive, both front and rear, I shifted them both to red, and then I turned on the rear headlights and the front headlights at the same time. And then the other aspects of the shunting key is it decreases the momentum of the locomotive and reduces the overall speed that it can travel. It also locks the engine speed, the sound, at the same idle speed. So if I reverse the locomotive, you notice it doesn't make any extra sounds when it's moving. Now you notice with the normal headlights on, a normal operation for the lights, the cab light automatically turns itself off when you start moving the locomotive. Let me turn off the shunting key. And now I'll go in reverse again. And you hear the engine change. What F5 does, and let me go ahead and show you this. I'll turn off the cab light or the headlights, just to show you. So the headlights are completely turned off, using F0 again. So if I press F5, I can turn on the cab light, and then when I move the locomotive, the cab light stays on. So it overrides that auto-off function. But also provides independent control of the cab light, allowing you to turn it on and off by itself. So I'll go ahead and turn the headlights back on, and then I'll press F5 again, and now the cab light stays on. They might want to leave the cab light on if you're in shunting or something on that order. Now here's the fun one. I'm going to go ahead and turn off the sound briefly, or the engine sound. Okay, and then I'm going to go ahead and turn on the smoke generators. And I used F6 to turn on the smoke generators, and now we'll go ahead and give the engine startup sound again. So now that it's officially started up, it poofed out a huge cloud of smoke, and then it's settled back down on how much smoke it's producing. So I'll go ahead and reverse it briefly here. Back forward. So as you see, the locomotive starts working, and then when it settles its engine sound down, it produces a lot less smoke. So when you go into shunting mode, it'll still do that, but the engine doesn't make any more extra noise on it per se. So that's a neat feature with the brake too. I'll put the brake on, and as I raise the engine power, you see it starts producing more smoke. This is some of the extra bonuses with DCC, is the full control of the smoke in association with the sound of the locomotive. So before I smoke myself out of here, I'll go ahead and turn the smoke back off on the locomotive. A couple of the other features. So that was the smoke generators. Is that I've set it up so that with F7, let's see if we can hear that. I'll back it up here. And sometimes it will play it. You'll hear the brakes squeal a little bit. F7 allows you to turn that brake squeal off completely if you don't want it to play that. And then F9 is a coupler. And then F10 and 11 are my volume controls. F10 increases the volume, F11 lowers the volume, as I did a little earlier. And then, because the sound project, when I initially started with it, offered a whole selection of different horns, I left those in there and I assigned them from F12 to F20. So we'll go ahead and here's one. This is F12. Those are two of the same horns between F12 and 13, and F14. Two different horns from 13 and 14. Then we have F15. Nope, F16. F17. I can imagine all those horns being mounted on top of the locomotive. That'd look pretty funny. At any rate, this is another great install from Trainly Installations. I'm Christine McNary. Thank you for watching.